Hello, everyone in podcast land. This is the Anime4ALL podcast. I am here with Spear, and I want to start something before we start up the podcast. I like to bring attention and say rest in peace to Rachel Lillis. Um, she's a voice actor, and most people probably would know her or recognize her as the voice of um Misty and Jessie from the Pokemon anime back in the very early days. Like she was the first voice of Jessie, and apparently she passed away in 10th of August of breast cancer. I was not aware of this, and I found out today that she had passed. I She influenced a lot of people, and I will say like I really did enjoy her voice as Misty and Jessie back in the day when I did watch the anime. Um, she will be missed. Uh, so I can't believe she had breast cancer or cancer of any kind actually. I just wanted to get that out there. And hello, Nature Avenger, rip indeed. You're awfully quiet, sir.
I don't know anything about this person. I didn't know you were going to bring them up. Are they have they voice acted for anything like besides Pokemon that was big?
She had a. Well, I can find out for you. Rachel Willis. Most people are just like recognizing her Pokemon. Uh, you watch Berserk?
Um, Berserk? No.
I have a list of see here Takagami, Guardian of Darkness, The Slayers, Revolutionary Girl, Utena, Slayers Next, Geo Breeders, Irresponsible Captain Tyler, Shamanic Princess, Boogie Pop Phantom, RG Veda, Dokudo, Harlock Saga, Twin Signal, Berserk, Isn't Her Circumstances, Maytale Legend, Now and Then, Here and There, Voltage Fighter, Gal Kaiser, Alien 9, Animation Runner Kuromi, DNA 2, KOB, Sonic X, Comic Party, Gravitation, Nana 7 of Nana 7 of 7, Shrine of the Morning Mist, World of Nehru, Hammer Boy, Midori Days, Mew Mew Power. She was in Mew Mew? Huh. Shingu, Secret of Stellar Wars, Gin Shiken, Boys B. Oh, wait. Pokemon Chronicles. What was this? Oh, this is just Japan. That's sad. Wait, no, because she was an English voice actor. How did I recognize Pokemon Chronicles? What the heck? That looks like a name I should recognize. I don't remember Pokemon Chronicles. What the hell? There was a freaking anime based around characters that were not Ash Ketchum. How did I miss this? What? Sorry,
That's okay. Geek out.
Dinosaur King, the third, the girl with the blue eye. I felt like I heard about this one. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon explores the time and darkness. That was like a game, but it got its. I guess it got like a tiny. I don't remember this animation. Huh. Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn, Bakuman, Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, Your Lie in April. Wait, this name looks familiar. What is this one about? Is this about the silent? Is this about the deaf girl? Oh no, I never saw this one. I did see that this got a movie. So in case you wonder what I'm talking about, Your Lie in April. This is a movie. This is a novelization or whatever of the romantic drama. But I never got a chance to watch this, and I intended to watch this at some point, but completely forgot about it. But the story follows a young pianist named Kosei Arima, who loses the ability to perform the piano after his mother's death, and his experiences after he meets violinist Kaori Miyazono. Kaori. So wait, who is she? Is she like one of the main? No, she's not, but she's the character in there. Okay, huh? And then, oh, this might be interesting. You watched Hunter x Hunter.
I've
She
watched some Hunter x Hunter, but not a lot.
Did you watch it in English dub or the sub?
I couldn't even tell you one character from Hunter x Hunter.
Oh well, it looks like she played Gon's father. I mean not father, Jesus, mother.
Oh, okay.
Wait, is Mito his mother or is Mito his aunt? I forget. I think it's Aunt Mito, isn't it? Oh yeah, she played Gon's aunt. She's the woman that he ends up leaving to go be a hunter. that took care of him when his father had left him there. I didn't know she voiced her. That's cool. Oh, it's too bad she passed. I guess if this anime gets a continuation, then we're gonna have to recast her. She was in Cubics. She was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2003 run.
Oh, that's cool.
Link's Club, Chaotic. Oh, she was Jigglypuff in Super Smash Bros. That's cute. Yeah, but she wasn't active. She stopped being active in 2019. She developed breast cancer. It looks like in May, or maybe not. So it says that her sister, made a GoFundMe in May 2024. It doesn't say when she got diagnosed with it. That sucks.
Yeah, it does. Hmm.
We're losing
I
all
don't,
kinds, huh?
I don't know any of those animes that she's a voice actor in, but the community of voice acting is something I have a lot of respect for.
I mean, yeah, they get treated pretty poorly. I guess that's one thing I can use this platform to say is that I know there's a lot of like divisive talk and stuff like that, and there's party lines and anime in general, and especially when it comes to whether you watch a dub, an English dub, or you watch the Japanese sub. Um, I always had a stance that either or is fine. But like I think as people who don't speak Japanese natively or don't live in Japan, I feel like we should probably support our the English dubbers because like I mean they're getting better. Yes, there was a time when when the English dubs were pretty bad, but we come a long way from when that was a thing. I always like to point out to an example that to me really does it really they did a good job when it came to dubbing was My Hero Academia. I haven't actually watched a lot of the English dub for My Hero recently. Back when I first started, I was kind of surprised at the quality of it. Um, I was actually kind of like it was really well done. As far as I can tell, they didn't. I don't know how many jokes were lost in translation because American humor and Japanese humor are two different things, which is unfortunate. Um, let's try that. But yeah, Japanese humor and American humor are just two different things. So jokes that would land in Japan obviously wouldn't land over here. And a lot of people take offense to, I guess, them trying to translate things sometimes and just keep it because you lose meaning. Because like for a lot of people, like some people that aren't interested in Japan in general, they probably wouldn't even care if they lost uh something in translation. Because it'd probably be cool to be told that later by somebody who did the research and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I think most people refer to the infamous Pokemon anime screw up where uh onigiri was translated to jelly donut over here.
What does onigiri mean?
It's just a rice ball.
Oh,
I mean, to get
could
an
be,
actual, but to get an
could
actual
be
meat.
worse.
Most people refer to that though when they talk about like how never translate anything ever. Uh, Let me just look up onigiri really quick. I'm doing this. Onigiri, also known as omusubi or nigiri mishi. I'm just butchering all this. I know I can say onigiri correctly. It's a Japanese rice ball made from white rice, usually formed into a triangular or cylinder shapes, and it's wrapped in nori seaweed. Onigiri traditionally have sour or salty fillings, such as umeboshi, pickled Chinese plum, salted salmon, uh, hatsuobushi, smoked and fermented bonito, kumbo, toroko, or pollock roe. This is a fish, or pickled Japanese giant mustard greens. Because it's usually portable and eaten by hand, onigiri have been used as a portable food or bento from ancient times to the present day. Originally it was used as a way to use and store leftover rice, but later become a regular meal. But they're in no way jelly donuts. Though at the time when it happened, I was American. I was I mean I'm still American, but I didn't know at the time that I mean I did remember as a kid looking like, hey, those aren't jelly donuts. But I ran with it because I didn't know any better.
Is it close enough though? I mean, for the translation's purpose.
I don't I don't think so. If I'm being real, if I'm being real and being honest, I think that translation was a screw up. And I think the problem was is that like at the time the dubbers whoever I think it was 4Kids at the time, um, and 4Kids is an entirely different thing in entirely for certain animes. Um, I guess you could say that maybe I don't know, but it's like I don't think I've ever eaten. Have you ever eaten a salty or a fishy donut?
No.
Because I mean, if onigiri was sweet, I would say I would give them a pass. Kind of. I mean, it's years down the road anyway. It doesn't really matter, but it's one of those like it's when it comes to as an argument against English dubbing, they usually refer to this incident. It's usually always like the scapegoat. I think there's plenty of other incidents of bad dubbing, but most people like to jump on the they did this in the Pokemon anime, and this is why you should never support English dubbing. And I'm like, no, 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 no. They can't get better if you don't support them, and let them know that they made a mistake.
Yeah, that's fair. I wish they would release the English dubs a lot closer to the Japanese originals.
I mean, they're doing that now. What do you think the simul release is all about? Now, like I guess the
Like
other
My Hero Academia, like is not anywhere near releasing that.
well the anime happened I think maybe a year or so after the manga started. You talking about like having like the anime release alongside manga chapters or something like that? I don't. I would be for that, but the problem that kind of comes up when you do that kind of thing is you end up like the situation you had with Dragon Ball Z, where the anime caught up to the manga and they don't have any more source material to animate. And then they start just making filler after filler after filler after filler, and you can't tell which is what you can't tell the filler between the main story. So I guess with My Hero it could work differently. I mean, they don't really have to focus on Midoriya or Bakugo at all. They could just like just playing other characters. I guess they could make filler on. But then you have the problem of like what those characters like being those characters being like built upon or by the author, or they're just being used by the animators. There's like a lot of issues you kind of run into doing that kind of thing. Meanwhile, I appreciate the filler that Dragon Ball did, but at the same time, there's another show that kind of had an issue, and it was Bleach. And I still don't, and it still baffles me that this happened during the time that it happened. But I guess I now understand more about why it happened. But Bleach is another show that, for whatever reason, and this is something I think is a big no-no today. Never have your filler be 10 times better than the actual main story content.
Yeah.
There were things happening in the filler that I was like, why isn't this the actual story? Get me out of the Aizen. Let me freaking do more of this. I'm sorry, I'm still very
I
ups.
really like the filler from Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, and stuff like that. Like, I like the filler. One of my favorite episodes is that episode where they had them learn how to drive.
Yeah, I know you told me that, and I mean it's not a bad episode. I just like for me, it's like, well, I want the story. I don't want to have to wait 10 to 20 episodes for the story to play back out again. Because then, because the other thing too is like you have what happened with Deku here, where Deku got pulled off from the main battle that he was supposed to be at, and then he had to race over across the pond or whatever. Now, granted, it didn't take him long. I'll give them this that Deku wasn't like 10 episodes away from making it to the main battlefield. But boy, it definitely felt long, didn't it?
It still felt like, well, it felt like weeks because we had to wait weeks for it to happen. In fact, I think it was like 4 episodes, so we had to wait a whole month.
But imagine that with Dragon Ball Z's pacing.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. I don't think Deku would have gotten there till maybe like 3 months later. And that's being generous. There are people booing me. Think about it. At least they did better here. I was. I'm like this show surprises me sometimes. Not Dragon Prince, but My Hero surprises me sometimes with how some things play out. Like that happened much quicker than I was anticipating. Do more of this other anime where like please don't space out so much of like main characters having to you know because like I mean I saw reactors call like though this is the Dragon Ball Z separating Goku from the main flock and having him like spend so much time getting to the main fight. Like that's kind of to me it's kind of sad that you have that kind of thing going on, like people comparing Dragon Ball Z. But I guess like for a lot of people, Dragon Ball Z is the bottom line basis for shows that they're going to watch in the future.
Yeah.
So having it be compared to that, I guess makes sense. But it's like, oh man, Dragon Ball Z's filler has such a bad rap sometimes.
Yeah, people hate it.
I don't think it's like hated. It's like I feel like to me, it's placed in the dumbest places sometimes because it's like I want to see what's going on. Why is there filler happening? I think another thing too, maybe the problem is for a lot of Americans, and I never knew this was happening when it was happening, but there was a lot of times in the dubbing situation apparently that there was just weeks and months you would go out without a new episode, so they kept on rerunning the old episodes. That's probably what really like hadn't. That's what really was going on, and why people don't like some things about filler and Dragon Ball Z because maybe it wasn't all that long because of like okay, they ran out of episodes to air and they had to wait to get the other episodes in Japan, and that sometimes takes a while. So they had to rerun the old episode at a certain point. Some people like saw Raditz come to planet Earth like maybe 3 to 4 times.
Really? Why?
They kept on rerunning the episodes when they didn't have any new things to show and they need to run Dragon Ball. They just reran the old
Oh,
episodes.
reruns. I was gonna say I don't remember them. I thought you were saying because of filler for a second. And I was like, I
I
don't
mean,
remember.
because also filler got added into that though. Like they had to rewatch the filler over and over again sometimes. I suspect that maybe that's where some of the hate comes from. It's like it took over here in America. It took forever back during the time of Dragon Ball Z for any new content sometimes like to come out. But when you got the new content, you were glued to the TV so you could watch it.
Yeah.
Like I watched all of the Cell Saga on TV back in fifth grade, and I remember watching every episode every week. I looked forward to those new episodes. I also remember this traumatizing phrase next time on Dragon Ball Z.
I'm on Dragon Ball Z.
And I hated
Next time,
that. I
Dragon
hated
Ball.
it because they always did it when things were getting good. You could tell it was on purpose.
Uh huh.
It was never accidental. It was always on purpose. Because I remember
Yeah.
sometimes when I was watching a fight, like, wait, they're not gonna get this done before the end of the 30 minutes. What's gonna happen?
They were playing a 10 out of 10.
In the commercials, oh, don't get me started on the commercials. Watching that show live was a paid. You luckily didn't have that problem. I think you said you watched them like back to back at some point. You might be like, I watched them when they were coming out. I watched them when they were syndicated TV. Actually, before we move on to Dragon Prince, speaking of syndicated TV, apparently Cartoon Network lost their website.
Who lost their website?
Cartoon Network.
How did they lose their website?
That's something about HBO or Warner Bros. Taking an axe to them. I have no idea. I think it's still there, but it's like you can't. It's been significantly neutered.
It's weird. I gotta look this up.
You have now like stream Cartoon Network on Max. So I'm guessing Max has got full like control of what's going on. Yeah, Cartoon Network literally is on HBO Max. It's on Max.com. It's no longer CartoonNetwork.com.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's just no. It's owned by Max. It has Max in the top left hand side,
Yeah, I'm seeing that. I'm like, I really don't
and
like that.
everything you click on is just an advertisement for Max. That stinks.
Cartoon Network website shut down. From Ben 10 to Teen Titans. Where to watch classics for free.
Yeah.
Ben 10 was so good, man. People sleeping on that show. Uh,
I'm not familiar with it.
but just to like imagine like a DC superhero kind of, but instead of superpowers, um, each power is limited to an alien form. It's a really good show. I mean, I'm not doing any justice, but I really did like it when I was watching it. Things started out silly and then they got serious. Okay, speaking of starting out silly and things getting serious, we're here to review Dragon Prince Season 6, Episode 3. I do not have the title here. Actually, I can find the title really quick. The Frozen Ship. Let's start off with this review saying this episode was interesting. I'm gonna skip to the end though because I want to talk about this really quick. Um, we see Baron finally like making it to the castle at the end of the episode, and we see Baron just losing his freaking mind trying to talk to the king. And then Ezra comes out after being called out to the bridge, and then like he's just like it. He says he wasn't begging for forgiveness, but it looked like he was begging for forgiveness. He kept on calling him his king, and he's like, "I bet my ass has been awakened." And I find that what Ezra says next very cold. Um, like, are you begging for forgiveness? He's like, no, good, because you don't deserve it. And he just turns around and walks back into the castle. Like, is it me, or is it just me, or am I wrong to assume that Ezra would have, like, maybe held some pity on him more than he did there? Like, is it wrong to have assumed that? It's one of those weird. It's like I guess it's one of those really weirdly kingly things he's done up to this point.
Say he doesn't
That
deserve any.
huh?
To say he doesn't deserve any mercy.
But yeah, this is just doing like not holding any like real pity on him. Like he like this was definitely Ezrin from like 3 seasons ago that probably would have given Baron the benefit of the doubt. Like this is a different Ezrin altogether. It's like
Funny thing is, if he did give him the benefit of the doubt, it would pay off. I think Viren has changed.
I will see. I mean, he definitely looks different. I just it's just one of those really to me it's like it was such a cold thing for I mean I guess not cold but it was just like dang man I thought he was gonna give him a chance and it doesn't seem like he's going to. Just gonna put him in the jail. Like, cause I mean, just the way he say you don't deserve any and then walk off. I mean, maybe he was putting on a show for the people around his kingdom because they probably don't trust his leadership. I had no idea. To me, that was just like I never thought I never like like I guess like Ezra acting like a king is finally starting to pay off in terms of like him trying to keep his kingdom together. But it just I found that so interesting that he did that, and I was like, it was clear that Varen was remorseful. I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't. It just usually that kind of thing will work on Ezra, but I guess Ezra here was like he's got much more to work. He's got much more things to worry about than Varen coming back and claiming to be changed.
So distracted by stupid things too. I wondered where his staff went when they carried him off.
I think they picked it up, didn't it? Didn't they?
They do an overhead view of him, and I don't really notice where the staff is when they do the overhead view. It looks like they're just walking away with, and the staff cease to exist.
No, there's a knight right here that's holding it. I think that's his staff because it doesn't look like these weapons over here.
That's not one of the halberds because that's a lot bigger than the staff.
Are you sure? Because this doesn't look like that over here.
I get it because it's glowing blue. I can tell which one you mean, but you mean like out of the three guys on the left hand side, the rightmost, right?
The left three in the triangle.
Yeah, on the rightmost of those three. Um, but that doesn't look like the staff. It doesn't look like the halberd, but it doesn't look like a staff either.
Dang, I wish I could zoom in.
Yeah, me too.
That looks like the
It looks
staff
it
though
looks
to me.
it looks too long to be the staff. If you look at the staff, it's not that long. Like Claudia's staff is a long one, but like Viren's staff is fairly short.
I mean that looks like the staff to me. Cause these are long weapons. I don't think that weapon is as long as you think it is.
That's what she said. We're gonna have to disagree then because that weapon that the guy's holding is clearly taller than a man, and the one Viren had was clearly like half as tall as a man. It was more like a wand than a staff, really.
So for a couple of reasons I have to keep on pausing. Still
See, it's almost like more like a wand.
Well, here's the thing though, like no one else is carrying anything that even looks similar because this guy's got his sword in his scabbard, and
I know, but just
the guy
looking
that
at
would look like that would be the halberd would be right here. He doesn't look like he's even in the position that that guy who was holding it would be.
but what he's holding that's in question doesn't look like the wand or the staff or the.
I mean, the closest thing over here, but I can't even tell if that's even a spear he's got there. Like, I don't know what. Oh, it's a halberd on his side. Never mind. Even if these were the three that were in the thing, he still got his sword in his sheath. He doesn't have anything on him that would look like what you're looking at. I mean, what it doesn't look like anything that would be. I get that it looks like it's definitely shorter. I'm not denying any of that. I'm just saying that if this is the guy, like that was definitely not a sword that he had in his hand from the overview.
Yeah.
And I guess it could be him, but no, he's got his sword and he's got his other thing. I wonder does anybody pick it up when because he does drop it when he goes to his knees.
Right. They don't They don't have anyone animated like picking it up. They just carry him off, and then like they cut to the.
I feel like that it looks like that. Cause like this guy, well, this person and this person, the only ones that can pick it up because they don't have anything in their hand. I don't see anybody picking it up.
They don't have anything in their hand, but at least one of them has a halberd that wasn't animated in that moment.
This is really interesting. This image of Ezra, and like he's standing behind these two guards, and then I forget her name, standing like right behind him.
Yeah. He's standing straight and tall and ignoring the rain showering down on him.
Yeah, it's just gone. Oh wait, did it fall on this side or did it fall on this side? Because he was holding it in his arm. Oh, well, either way, you don't see it. Like nothing these guys are holding looks like that weapon. If it's not the wand, it doesn't look like the weapon shouldn't be there in that person's hand. They're not holding it like it's a weapon of like threat that they can use.
Yeah.
I mean, if they did forget to put the staff in there, that's really weird. But that whatever that person's holding is definitely not a sword. Trying to do this just to get every second I can. Even his wife looks kind of sad back there. At least I think no, it's not his wife. I don't know who this one is, but she looks really sad at seeing him like that. Even though she was against him, I think earlier on in the show. Because these look longer than that. I mean, I know I'm still harping on it, but like, these look longer than that.
Yeah.
And these look very different. Like if I'm being real to this thing, they don't look like a halberd. They don't. It doesn't look like a halberd on its side.
And he would have had to run in, pick it up, and back off, which doesn't make a lot of sense either.
He looks like he'd be close enough and on the right side where his staff would be. So that's a spear. That's, I guess, a lance. And the two halberds that you notice here. I don't know what he. This person's probably not holding anything, are they? And what is that? Is that just part of the bridge they're on? That might just be rainwater. Okay.
I think it's I think it's a mess up in the animation because one of those three guys we've been talking about. Out of those three guys, I think one or two of them didn't even have something in their hands at one of the scenes. So they just put something in their hands.
I don't know. I feel like this. I know you don't agree that this is. I just think that's a staff. Like it's gotta be.
I don't think it's Viren's staff. It can be a staff, but it's not Viren's staff. It's too long.
I don't see the limp difference that you're seeing though. Because I mean, this could just be one of those trick of
I told
the
you
trick
it's
of
more
the.
like a wand or a scepter at best, like the length of it. But it's not a full on like
I,
staff like Claudia's staff is.
I'm not saying that's a. I mean, I'm not saying it's a limp. I'm not saying this looks like his like what he was carrying. Because I mean, also we're looking at this. Like things look different depending on how you're viewing them and where you're viewing them from. Considering that we're like above these people and we're ascending, like that doesn't mean that this right here is like gonna be the same size of whatever Vin was holding when he ran in and fell to his knees.
Probably too thin to be Viren's staff too, as well as too long.
I really don't know. I feel like this has got to be it. I don't. Cause it looks like it to me. Like it really does look like it. I'm not stretching. I'm just like I'm literally looking at it. I'm staring at it. It looks like it's his weapon. I mean, not his weapon, but his magic. His scepter.
Yeah.
Cause like, but I see length. These are definitely longer than that, and they definitely are longer than what he ran in with. It wasn't like this thing was all that small to begin with. There's definitely some length there, and the way he's holding this weapon to the side. This is not the same size as the scepter he was holding when he ran in. And to me, like he's in the perfect position to like if Varen, because they moved him forward a little bit here, but he was right there. To me, when Varen fell down, his staff, whatever he had, the wand that he had in his hand, when he dropped it, it would have rolled over to the side. To me, he's in a perfect position. They don't necessarily need to animate him walking up there and taking it because that's such a small, minor thing that in animation can cost money. Um,
Yeah.
like easily, like to me, it's like he could just easily pick it up. It can just be assumed that he picked it up because he's in a perfect position for it. Now, if he had been like maybe over here or like further back, like maybe even like if he was like beyond this guy, like he was like right behind him, and then he had it, then I would say, huh, that's really weird. But to me, the positioning makes sense if we're using positional awareness. Also,
Yeah.
if he had the weapon in his other hand and it fell over here, then if he had it, that'd be even weirder to me. But since it looked like it fell over here, to me, it's like it makes sense positional like wise for him to have it.
I mean, if the halberd is a two-handed weapon and he's holding that with his left hand only, that makes me wonder if it's a halberd, like or a spear or anything. So that lends credence to the argument that it's a wand, or a staff. But I still don't think it is. I think it's too thin. I think it's too long. The only thing it's got going for it is the color, that it's got that bluish color.
Really don't see the length you're talking about. That's the problem. I really don't. It looks like the same length as what he was carrying.
It looks like it's about as tall as that guard.
And you don't think this is just a trick of the view because we're looking at it above?
I think it's an animation flaw. I just think they messed up on the animation. Hey, Nature Avenger.
I'm so confused here, but okay. I'm still convinced that it's a staff. He's just too perfect, and he's just too perfect in the perfect position for it. And this doesn't look like anything else anybody else is like carrying.
No, everybody else is carrying something that's animated in a very uniform way, except for that one guard that doesn't seem to be carrying anything.
All right.
The guard in question.
Shoot. So really quick, I guess most of this episode looks like it's from Rayla and Colin's position in the world. Well, except for like that little bit. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about that now, actually. We're out of order. What's his name again? The elf kid?
Terry.
Terry. We find Terry waiting for Claudia, and weirdly enough, she came back.
He was making a foot for her too while he was waiting. It looked like
making a what for her?
He was making a replacement foot for her, like a prosthetic leg for her while he was waiting. Like he had faith that she was coming, so he was like working as if she was going to come back anyway.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, I'm surprised she came back. Cause like when she left, it seemed like to me that was it. But I guess maybe she wasn't thinking. She needed time to herself. I guess.
I think she was in a really bad place, and when she left, like she didn't realize that she really needed Terry. And then she had absolutely no choice, and then she came back with no choice left. It was a big act of vulnerability, and Terry was up like worthy of it. And when she comes back, Terry like takes care of her and bathes her and like makes her a prosthetic leg and gets her cleaned up and like straightened out a little bit. And I think she just couldn't do it without him. I think what was going on there is like Claudia had to go off and realize that she couldn't do it without him.
Yeah, it was really interesting because, like, I mean, they even like they had their whole their whole like alone time, romantic time together, with Rayla and Callum kind of did, kind of um talk about that in a minute. But it was interesting. She even drops her glowy staff that we were talking about earlier to go give him a hug. Something that she was hanging on to, like when we first saw her in the first episode, like she would not let that thing go.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, Rayla and Callum can't kiss because Callum has to confess before he feels right giving her a kiss. Claudia and Terry have no problem kissing at the end.
Yeah, they probably get busy.
Yeah, it's just interesting that they didn't have as much holding them back, even though Claudia's got much more
damage.
Yeah, way more damage than that. But it's like because. Go ahead.
I mean, all I was gonna say was like, I get this is one of those things where I think maybe she was vulnerable when she yelled at him all that time ago, and when we said, "Man, don't wait for her," she's not gonna come back, and apparently we are both proven wrong. But again, she had most of the people that that she thought cared about her, that she cared about, just walk out on her for one reason or another, regardless of what the reason was. Every single person, her brother left her, kind of, to join like to do his own thing. Her father left after like pretty much like Varian left her multiple times. One time that he died, and the second time he nearly died, and the third time he's finally back to normal and he just walks away from her. And I mean, when he left her for a good reason because he felt like he had tainted her, but she didn't see any of that, and she just wanted to see family. And we know that she's got an issue with family. Again, there's like some really serious parallels with her and Azula, and I'm finding that more and more as we go along with this character. It's like a different take on Azula, weirdly enough. Because I want to say she kind of looks like Azula here, but I forget that Azula had her hair in a bun, so like this was just one like Claudia wanted to have her hair cut because it was well Terry tried combing it and she felt a little tug on her hair and realized that she it's probably a good idea to cut it. The only thing I really gotta say now is like, okay, well, Terry, you can't leave her now. If you leave her now, there ain't no coming back. Like, there's no coming back for her at that point. She's done too many things to too many, you know, beings already at this point. You're probably the last like uh stable ground that she's probably got in her life. It also shows that Terry is very dependable. Up to this point, he's kind of just been happy-go-lucky, kind of like the jokester of the crew. He actually like, came through for her, gave her something, I guess, to hold on to, literally. It's cool that she's still got a little bit of her hair still left that's black.
She lost all of it, but it was in the last episode. It looked like it wasn't there, but no, she still has a good amount of it.
I mean, yeah, she's still got like white hair everywhere else, but it's like this is like a really cool design. That I'm actually kind of curious if this is signifying that Claudia still can be saved, but I guess if this disappears, she's gone for good.
Yeah.
I'm probably like pulling that out of thin air. I don't know. It's interesting that she still got that here, and she looks very normal and full of life here. Yeah, she still got plenty of hair. She still got some lines of brown hair or black hair. Yeah, they don't hold back. This scene literally, I was like, huh, we're doing this now. We're doing this now. Okay, besides giving her the prosthetic leg, there's a scene of her like kissing him and she's lifting her leg, which is usually signifying when that happens, she's happy where she's at right now. I'm surprised that he did that a little bit there with her lifting her leg as he's kissing her. I mean, she's kissing him. But
They did a little bit. Jesse mentioned that. She said that they mentioned like in a very, very early episode that we would have seen like years ago now. She said that she lifted up her foot when she was excited or something like that, or something like when she kissed and it was a real kiss, she lifted up her foot. Jesse said she remembered the reference to that and that's why they showed it because it was a reference to.
oh, I didn't know that was a reference to that. I just thought it was like one of those because typically in animation, when usually a woman will lift her leg up whenever she's kissing a dude or she really likes him. Oh, I didn't. I
Yeah,
realized that they bring that up. They bring that up earlier.
yeah, they brought it up. She couldn't remember the exact wording of it, but she said she remembered it that they said something like that. So it's extra sweet when she's got the prosthetic leg
Hmm.
and she lifts up her foot like that. So I thought that was actually kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, that's actually kind of cool. I guess another small detail about Terry is that I think this is the first episode we really see him use his powers. Um, I'm actually kind of curious to all like I don't even know what type of elf he is. I know they mentioned what type of elf he is, but like, those forest elves, did he
Here's
all
a wood something elf. I forget what exactly it was, but yeah.
like do all wood elves change like I guess the way they look when they're using their ability? I just thought that was kind of interesting that this is kind of the first time we've seen him use his ability.
Sunfire elves change the way they look when they use their abilities. So I'm guessing that it's the same thing with wood elves.
I guess that makes sense. It is kind of interesting that he's I'm actually kind of curious if he's capable in a fight. He doesn't know the type of guy that would hurt a fly, but maybe if it came down to it, I guess it kind of another thing about this episode too is like choosing. If you have to choose between something, like I guess what will you choose? In his case, he had to choose between leaving Claudia, I guess like leaving her there or staying with her. And clearly he chose staying with her. I mean, he stayed there behind after she left.
And waited on her.
He chose that, and I guess to hurry back to the beginning. What most of the episode is dealing with us, in Callum and Rayla trying to get to the tower to I guess figure out what they're gonna do with Erebos in the little orb prison that he's in. And like they get to like a lake area that's covered in ice. Well, that's an entire like the lake is like apparently covered in a thin layer of ice. After they get off of their little, after Rayla gets off her little, like, I guess, ride, her tiger ride thing, I find it kind of funny that, like, he's stepping on the ice and then immediately falls right in, and then he's like, "Oh Lord, this isn't gonna be good. We're gonna have our first casualty of the episode is gonna be an animal." No, they don't. Like, we have Callum use a water volcano spell to get him out of there. It really just lets lets the tiger go back home to where I guess where her hometown is, to wait for her to see her again, to see him again. And it even makes a reference to the fact that, like, I like, we will see you again at some point. I was like, huh, interesting. We're losing our animal companion already, our giant ride animal companion.
And
Alan,
I was trying to look up the name of the pony, but it reminded me of Lord of the Rings when they go too far and things are getting too dangerous, and they have a faithful mount named Bill, I want to say it was, and they send Bill home the same way, and Bill actually goes home.
Bill the pony. I'm sorry.
Bill, it is Bill.
I got all you said there. I'm still so focused on Bill. Is like, really, Lord of the Rings? They couldn't come up with a more fantastical name than Bill.
I mean, he created an entire Elvish language to represent all the Elvish things, like a working Elvish language, and then like what was the name of the mountain that they had to throw the ring into? Mount Doom or something.
You're asking the wrong person. I think you told me. I
Sometimes,
completely forgot.
sometimes he kept things pretty simple. So
So he created an entire language for a fictional universe.
yeah,
I think some dedication to be able to figure all that dialect out. That's
yeah,
just,
Mount Doom.
that's just as crazy as Simlish, which is a real language, by the way.
Yeah, he created Elvish. People still like reference it.
Huh? Weird, but cool. Still weird. Back to Bill though. So Bill, they let Bill go, and then Bill goes home.
He created two major Elvish languages, Quenya and Sindarin,
Isn't it?
each with its own grammar, vocabulary, and linguistic history. He even went as far as to create writing systems for these languages, giving them a visual presence in this fictional world.
A lot of dedication.
So he created two languages, Quenya and Sindarin.
That's some dedication. Jeez.
Just for the hell of it, just for his book.
I'm guessing if you learned that language, you could tell certain things in the movie just from looking at it.
This one mentions that he constructed the grammar and vocabulary of at least 15 languages and dialects in roughly 3 periods.
In his fictional universe?
Yeah, Wikipedia says he constructed the grammar and vocabulary of at least 15 languages and dialects.
But these are all in his fictional universe?
Yeah.
Huh. Huh,
There's a
that's...
Wikipedia article called Languages Constructed by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, it takes him so long to make a book anyway, so I guess I could believe that he'd do that.
Sorry, I just copy pasted the wrong thing into chat. Um, yeah, and then he couldn't do better than Mount Doom for the mountain,
Or Bill for the pony.
or Bill for the pony.
Sorry,
Although I'm
just
sure,
Bill for...
but it's a touching scene because they really love this pony, and the pony gets them through a lot, and they're deep into the story, and they're about to go up a mountain or something. No, they're about to go into a mountain, and there's something going on. I forget why, but it seemed dangerous, so they send Bill home. And if I remember correctly, Bill makes it home, and he's just like makes it home just fine. But they were like really upset and sad about sending Bill away, like they really love their pony. So it kind of reminded me of that scene when they send that creature off, whose name I forget, but it wasn't Bill. It reminded me of that moment where things got a little too got a little too heavy, and it was time to send the mount away.
Well, I mean, they kind of, I mean, I guess like, that's an interesting connection you made. But when that happened, I kind of thought about, I mean, it wasn't the exact same thing, but I remember back in the Last Airbender, our cartoon, um, there's a section of the show where Appa gets separated from the gang, and Appa spends a good portion of that season without Aang, and I mean, it's not the same thing, but at the same time, it's kind of like similar, kind of. I mean, they get separated from like Aang and everything. And we see the adventure that I think actually it was an episode we got just to see Appa, where Appa went, and I forgot exactly where he went, but I think he got kidnapped at one point. Then he was used by some, I guess, some like street ruffians to get around. Like, Appa had an adventure, and I just thought like I just kind of thought like, huh, that's kind of like how they like, but this time instead of getting forcibly separated from the main characters, they did like they were just turned back by the main character. You know, they weren't like taken and forcibly taken away from them. But speaking of the dangers of the ice of this world, really quick, they go across the ice because it's kind of dangerous, and then they come across black ice. I was kind of shocked by this because, like, where did black ice come from in this world? What in the world? And I also had the thought of why is the ice got to be black though? But we're gonna move on from that statement.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Always with you with the black.
Listen, they're the one that put the ice in there, and they had to make it black. I'm just asking the questions. But actually, speaking of the animals, really quick, or just the the animal, like the moments with animals. I mentioned before that they really give these like creatures like character they don't really need. Sneasel again, proven to be the best little pog pole here. Like I mean, like him and whatever the name of the pet monkey that Rayla's got. Later on, have I think the funniest moment where like Callan was obviously not trying to sleep underneath the same cover because later on in the episode they're trying to like they're spending the night in the ship, by the way, which they come across as they're trying to I guess like cross the dangers of the ice. Callum loses his like bag in the water, and Rayla's like, going inside, looking around to see if there's anything they can use, and she ends up finding a diary of the previous owner of the ship, uh, talking about like how that she wanted to be with the person that she loved, and Rayla's in there reading it, and the Callum is on the outside, I guess, talking to his pet, his pet, and I'm just like, it's so interesting that they're having them talk to them, and they're just kind of like taking responses that they're obviously not giving. But that was kind of funny and kind of cute a little bit because like I was reminded of like how Aang talked to Momo, the flying lemur. Every time he asked Momo a question, Momo would just make a noise, but then Aang would just extrapolate an answer from that.
Yeah.
And I was reminded, especially with Sneasel, how that worked out for him. It was like like I don't know what you said. I'm gonna take it. Like I'm gonna take it as like you said this, like how Rayla did with the monkey inside the bridge inside the ship too. It was kind of interesting how like they really make use of every single character, even if that character is a creature that they threw in, last season probably for no reason, but other than because they can sell more plushies.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to see like what is the lifespan of these guys if they grow up really fast. I have no idea. Because Bait is obviously kind of old, so I'm not sure how long Bait's been around. But Rayla's in there reading the diary. Callum ends up hearing her crying. And he comes on in, and then later on the same episode, like they're staying the night inside the ship, and then Rayla is like offering to share the blanket that she had, and Callum's refusing to sleep underneath this I guess the blanket with her. I don't know why he was doing that. I could have sworn they were still going out, but maybe they're not. I have no idea.
Yeah, I know. It seems like they were like completely like platonic with each other based on that, doesn't it?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, I was under the assumption I thought they had made up and started going out again, but maybe they didn't. Maybe I made an assumption that I shouldn't have. But yeah, the way Callum was acting was kind of like how he was trying to respect, Rayla's like, privacy and whatnot. But Rayla didn't seem to matter or care. But what I want to bring up, like the character building with some of these animals, is that the little spider monkey and then the tadpole, like literally as they're sleeping, um, like underneath the same cover after a while after being kind of forced, like they roll both of them to face each other and then they push them together and then like the little like spider monkey pulls the arm of Callum over Rayla. And this is being just juxtaposed to the kissing that's going on with Claudia and Terry. I just thought it was funny to me.
Yeah,
I'm uh,
they need a wingman like whoa.
who?
They need a wingman like whoa.
Who's whoa?
Like whoa, like whoa.
Oh, okay. I thought whoa was a name of somebody.
No.
Sorry. But I thought it was just pretty funny that these like again these little animals that probably don't really aren't gonna mean well. I say that maybe not. I mean, but then again, that spider monkey had an ability that we still don't really know what's going on with there because it stuck something into a void and never took it out again. I think these animals aren't gonna mean much later, but you never know. I mean, sometimes these animals surprise you, ironically. But that was kind of interesting that they have a press like they can smell the romance in the air and they're just trying to make it happen. Like that song from The Lion King, "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?" Sorry, I had to. But
Feel the love tonight.
but then we get a little bit serious because even though Claudia and Terry kiss, as Spear I mentioned earlier, Callum as they're about to kiss, Callum pulls back and says he has to tell her something. I'm just like, and at first Claudia seemed, I mean, not Claudia. At first, Rayla kind of seemed kind of offended a little bit when that happened. I was like, "What? You're not gonna kiss me?" Even though she was clearly gonna let it happen. That was the other thing too. Like, it was clear that Claudia, I mean not Claudia, but Rayla was gonna let it happen. But then Callum's the one that pulled back. But yeah, then he tells her that he used dark magic again, and then it's like then they have their talk. Basically, sorry, I'm not trying to make what's happening seem less important, but it's just like it's all happened in the middle, like essentially kind of blue balled her, kind of. I don't know. I really don't know. But or is it blue? Nope, don't go down that track. Um, they had their talk, and then she's like, "Why would you use dark magic? Like you already told, you already know what it does to you." And he's like, he pretty much comes out with the whole concept of like, because you're in danger, I'm always going to choose you. So no matter what, I'm going to do anything for you. And we have that, we have that circle of like, of premonition or whatever come back around, like what Varen did and what Claudia did. They'll do anything for family. Him doing anything for her. It pretty much causes her to say, if you ever like do me a favor, if there ever has the situation where you have to choose between me and the good of the world, choose the good of the world. I was like, are they trying to set something up? I don't like where this is going. I don't like that we're having this talk now, and I don't like where this is going. Um, and then apparently they have a little fight, but then they cause like the ship to sink a little bit, and then there's a fire. That I forgot how the fire started. Oh, they knocked the lamp over.
They knocked the lamp over. The lamp, I looked like they got the lamp from the ship too, which was kind of weird that they had this lamp just chilling in the ship, still usable.
Well, I mean, I don't think oil loses in that ability, does it?
Yeah, and I guess it wouldn't freeze.
Then they set the entire place on fire, and they try getting out, but they forget If you get Erebos' prisons in there, and Rayla goes in there to get the prison, and I literally said there's like, oh please don't tell me that we're gonna lose Rayla after we had that speech of choose the good of the world over me. I'm so glad they didn't do that. I mean, I don't think they're gonna kill Rayla, but you never know with these shows. They could pull a 180 and then shock the world. Um,
I don't think they're gonna kill Rayla ever. I
well,
think Rayla is the most popular character in the show.
I would know because I haven't seen many people watching this show. I know there's people watching it because they're getting new seasons, but
All the porn on this subject is of Rayla.
I would ask, but I'm not gonna ask. I think the question's already out there, and you already answered it thoroughly enough. I'm gonna move on. But
I'm just saying there's one demographic locked in. That's all I'm saying.
I think you said more than enough in that subject, just with that one sentence. Not shaming you, just saying that I think you said a lot more than you think you probably did with that one sentence. But yeah, now they're looking at the they look at the ship burning as it's going down. Which, interesting enough, this ship is out here. It got stuck. Makes me think that apparently this place isn't always covered in ice, or when the ship sailed, it wasn't covered in ice. I wonder what took them out. Thinking about this now after the fact, or if even the people on the ship are still alive, maybe they're out there somewhere. Who knows? But yeah, as the ship is burning and whatnot, and then that's pretty much it comes down to it with the little scene we discussed earlier about Ezra and I call it a cold, reception to Varen, but I guess it's like it's deserved. I did what Varen did. I think back in season 3. I think it happened in season 3 when he tried to pull off a coup. But I guess we'll find out what happens with Varen. I mean, I know that he's putting Varen in the jail cell.
Yeah, he'll be in jail next episode, and we'll find out what they want to do with him from there. Or he could just sit there for a long time.
Yeah, there is also that option. Put him in a jail cell and never talk to him again. Oh shoot, I forgot to mention something. I just thought about this. Um, they bring up. Okay, sorry, I had a thought there. No, I just forgot they bring up during like little heart to heart that that Callum and Rayla have when they're resting, when they go to sleep, and then Rayla notices that they got a nice view of the stars, and then Callum recites a poem. We found out that Callum's father was a poet. I'm not entirely sure if that really means it's going to mean anything in the future, but we know that Callum's father had a way of words, kind of. So like it's kind of interesting. And apparently, his father died of lung cancer. I think that's what we're assuming there, because he said he had a hard time breathing nearing the end of his life. I thought it was kind of interesting. I just want to bring that because I thought it was kind of interesting that Callum brings up his father, because like we know that him and Ezra share a mother, but I guess it's never really brought up who Callum's father was.
Yeah.
Like the whole deal of fathers, missing in action and whatnot. I thought it was interesting. I'm actually kind of curious, like if Callum's father was human or not.
He's probably human.
But I
He
mean,
doesn't really. He doesn't actually give us anything to go on, so maybe not. Maybe he's part elf or something like that.
I guess if that was the case, you think Callum would have thought about that when he was using magic. And
Plus, he doesn't
maybe I'm
know.
stretching.
It could just be a little bit of elf, like from like 3 generations ago or something.
You got a wee touch of elf from like 3 to 4 generations ago. It doesn't do anything for you, but just like you just should know it's there.
Well, what I'm thinking, have you ever read Terry Brooks,
uh,
the Shannara series? In the
nope.
Shannara series, there's humans with just a little tiny like trace of elf way back in their ancestry, and it enables them to be the only humans that can use magic
Huh.
because they have just enough elf in them to be able to use it.
That'd be an interesting thing for them to draw on if that's where they're gonna go with it.
Well, it's just we've already had what I thought felt like a Lord of the Rings reference, and Terry Brooks is like the second biggest fantasy world, or the next biggest selling like fantasy world that's out there. So it would be a shout out to Terry Brooks. Wouldn't be out of the wild. It wouldn't be absolutely crazy to think that he had an influence on it.
I'm not saying they wouldn't. I guess another small thing, as we're talking about worlds building and whatnot. Before we do go off here, because we do gotta go. We're 6 minutes over time. I had the thought. Now I lost the thought. Crap.
It was a good thought. The best kind of thoughts.
Oh, that's right. Dark magic. I wanted to bring up that was it just me? Or did Colin seem like the idea of dark magic being him using it again wasn't like the worst thing in the world for him at the current time? It wasn't like he was accepting of it, but it almost seemed like he, I guess he wasn't too against the idea. Okay, if it worst came to worst, if he had to use it just a tiny bit, back when like Rayla was berating him for using it to begin with, and the
Excuse
way,
me.
like back when he had revealed to Rayla he used dark magic again. Like to me, it almost seemed like to me when he was trying to like I guess like tell Rayla that he did it, and I don't think he was trying to justify him using dark magic again, but it was like one of those situations where he'd be willing to use it if like worst came to worst. To me, it seemed like he was more okay with it than he was at first, or maybe I'm reading too much into it. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, and last thing, reveal the dark magic Rayla. Like Callum makes Rayla make a promise that we know she's gonna break, but to kill him if Erebos were to take over again, which we all know now knows that Erebos is gonna take over again at some point. They laid that trap in the open. I don't know how or when it's gonna happen, but they laid that trap in the open. Like I'm serious, you laughing at me, but they literally laid it out. It was like it's gonna happen again. Like they wouldn't have Callum make such an obvious out there statement to Rayla to
Yeah,
kill him.
he's gonna have to make this decision again, like whether or not to use dark magic, and the Aravos is for sure going to use and manipulate him again, and Rayla's gonna have to make a choice.
That we all know she's gonna break. Sorry, I sound like I'm being cynical. It's just one of those things. It's like I can already see where this is going. Like, and I don't know how this is gonna end, but I can already see where it's starting.
Yeah.
But I guess with that, in the podcast here, we're 6 minutes over. I'm trying to get better. 9 minutes over now of the time limit. See you guys next week. I think we'll be back. 1 minute. I know the Olympics is over, so unless My Hero Academia has another like break. So this is like running for 21 episodes, and we get 12 episodes now. So we got like what's this? Oh, that's just the other seasons. Okay, 1 minute. Episode 13 of My Hero Academia, August 17th. Okay, so we're back on track for the next episode coming out this Saturday. So we're reviewing next My Hero Academia episode along with another episode of Dragon Prince. We'll see you guys next week for that. And again, rest in peace, the Rachel. I sure hope that I sure hope the world of voice acting isn't hurting too much from her. I mean, she had retired before she had passed, so she wasn't really active anymore when she had passed. All right, see you guys next week.